Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I am Ashley and I'm a color guard director and a mom of almost 3 kids. You guessed it right. Well, you didn't guess it because it's in the title, but you guys, I'm having another baby. I had my first baby like 3 years ago. So 3 kids in just about 3 years. None of them were planned. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. If any of you out there are parents to multiple little children at once, or you know, you already passed that phase, please send me all of your advice and wisdom and good juju, because me and Jamal will need it. I just kind of want to chat with you and kind of talk about where we are in our season so far, especially how my pregnancy has kind of affected everything kind of in a way. I'm currently a little over 14 weeks, I think like 14 and 4 days or something like that. And pardon me, I have like a nausea candy in my mouth because I'm not past that part in the pregnancy yet. And I just cannot wait any longer to film this, because if I do, then I might run into Ari waking up from his nap, and I just really need to get this video done. So I'm very sorry I have a nausea candy in my mouth. But how's your season going? How is life going? We just finished week 3 of school. So we had our second football game last night. If you follow me on Instagram, I told this silly story about this, like all of these weird scenarios that I ran into at a football stadium here in Texas where I live. Never in my life, I'll just give you the highlights. Never in my life I had to deal with, I couldn't bring my backpack into the stadium. I couldn't bring my child into the stadium with the band. Like I was trying to go in with the pit and I couldn't because of safety reasons. I don't know what that was all about. I also couldn't have her on the track with me, and that's never been an issue. So yeah, I officially don't like that stadium. But anywho, everything is going fine so far. We are trucking along. It's kind of interesting. So I work at 2 schools. One school, we're kind of like on par with about all of the other schools. We're finished with part 1. We're just about to start our ballad, which is part 2. Kids are doing great. Costumes are here. We just need to finish putting things together, taping on flags and things like that. So yay for that. Something that has really been helping me a lot this season is checking in with my leadership on a regular basis. That is not something that I have really done, but I've been doing it since I've started my leadership business and thinking more about how I can really leverage my leadership team so that I can do a better job as their director, but also how can I give them more autonomy and responsibility so that it better prepares them for the real world. Because I think when we put our students in those leadership positions, we put a lot of responsibility on them and we push them and they're really put to the test. And I think it's a really great way for you to really put your feet to the fire and get a good taste of like doing a lot of inner work that it takes to become a leader, so that you can better show up as a mature, successful adult. So that has been very fruitful, I think. Evidently, there's a lot more little things that kind of come up that need to be just kind of maintained that I don't really know about or think about, because I'm so busy in show mode, making sure that we're where we need to be so that we look good and we're on track to finishing everything and having things clean and ready to go for performance time and competition season and all of that. And oh my gosh, I cannot believe it is already September. What the heck? The biggest challenge about being pregnant and going through band camp, luckily, I have not been outside that much, just because during color guard camp, we were inside pretty much the whole time. It has been a blistering hot summer in Texas this year. Don't know what's up with that, but thankfully recently we've had a couple of rain showers that have really brought the temperatures down. It's humid outside, but I'll take it because it's not as hot. I mean, it was so hot outside that I literally did not want to go anywhere during the day in the summer. So I've only had to really be outside here and there. Really the biggest thing, my pregnancies have always been pretty easy on me, thankfully. But the nausea thing just really, oh, sorry, that's my phone. Let me put it on silent. The nausea thing just really, it makes it hard for me sometimes to even speak. So if you know, you know. And so sometimes my students would be like, what's going on? Why did you just stop talking mid-sentence all of a sudden? And this was before I made the announcements to them, which I'll post right here.
I have a poem for you. Hey, listen. Roses are red, violets are navy. In February, I'm having a baby.
Up until they knew, it was being nauseous all the time just made it kind of difficult. But other than that, that's really been the biggest thing. Juggling 2 schools has been interesting. I'm kind of in a unique position with one of the second school that I teach, because originally I was not planning on coming back to that school because I didn't want to, well, there's a couple of reasons why, but ultimately I wasn't going to be coming back to that school, and a lot of it had to do with the pregnancy. I didn't want to overwork myself, especially the second school. They do afternoon rehearsals, and me being pregnant, I was wary of being outside for that amount of time that frequently. But it just so happens that for whatever reason this year in Texas, it has been really hard to find color directors to fill all of the many positions that are open, and let alone finding techs. Finding techs has been really hard too. Like this video if you have been going through the same thing. So luckily I have a tech at both schools. It just kind of worked out really nicely. But so the thing is, at my second school, because I wasn't going to come back, I didn't want to like pull out the rug from underneath the kids and the director. I said, hey, I'll stay here until you find a replacement, but you know, my plan is going to be to step away, but I don't want to put anybody in a difficult position. And so he fully understood and wasn't able to find anybody. And so I just ended up sticking around, and I just kind of come at times that work for my schedule. So I don't subject myself to the afternoon heat as much as I would have if I were not pregnant. And I just do the best that I can with the time that I have. And that has been kind of interesting, trying to kind of figure out how to make it work. But I think next week we're gonna be getting back on track, essentially. Anyway, I know this has been really chatty, but I don't know, I just felt inclined to kind of catch you up on life, announce to you that I am indeed pregnant with my 3rd kid, and kind of fill you in on how the season has been going. I feel pretty good about how things are going so far. I think the most challenging thing is just trying to figure out how my business and putting out YouTube content and all of those things that are involved in running an online business kind of fit into the crevices of my week, between rehearsals and performance, like games, and running my house and being with my children. But I'm enjoying it. I'm loving every single minute of it. And I think the biggest takeaway I want you to have from this video is, if you don't already do this, please consider meeting with your leadership once a week. Maybe you can find time to do it after a rehearsal, before a rehearsal, on an off day. Maybe you do it via Zoom, because I know for me it's kind of hard to find extra time in between when we have rehearsals without having to drive up here and figuring out what I'm going to do with the kids, or am I going to take them with me, yada yada yada. But that I feel has been a really big game changer so far, and it's only been a couple weeks. I mean, we've had like 3 weeks of band camp as well, so you know, over about a month and a half of kind of doing this. I don't always get to it. I really try to do at the very minimum every 2 weeks I check in with them, but if like ideally once every week is really good, just to kind of get a aerial view of everything and kind of see, okay, what is it that you see that I'm not seeing? What are our goals for next week? How were our goals for this past week? How are we going to plan on attacking the goals for the week ahead? Checking in with them. How are they doing? How are we feeling? Is there anything that we need to kind of keep our finger on, and just kind of housekeeping things, maintenance check? I have found to be so great. I've learned a lot. I've learned that although some of the things that happen are a lot of tiny small things, a lot of these little small things can then turn into big things later on. And so when you catch them before it starts to get big, you can be proactive about it and take care of it. And so it also kind of helps you to guide your students as the leader and kind of help them be self-reflective too, because what I am noticing that some of my leaders are not stepping up to the plate sometimes, or they might show behaviors of a little bit of immaturity. And so I take that time to kind of say, hey, you know, these are the expectations I have of you, and this is what I saw from you guys this week. Or, hey, you know, what expectations do we have of each other? And I use that kind of as a guide and a rubric so that I can tell people when they are or not meeting up to our expectations. That has been something that I have found helpful as well, because ultimately I think at the end of the day, they don't mean any harm whenever they are not like living up to your expectations. You know, these kids are not bad kids, but sometimes they just need to be reminded, hey, you signed up to do this. You are a leader. You are chosen to lead. So you need to act like it. This is what we expect of you, and this is what's happened so far. So let's bridge the gap. I really use it as a way to check in with the leadership specifically, and it just, like, I don't know, I have so many good things to say about it. I don't even know if it's gonna come across in this video, but I think I have to jump off now because baby is up. So yeah, I'll see you in my next one. Subscribe if you are into having these color art director chats, or if you are struggling with leadership. Come say hi to me on Instagram. I'll have it linked in the description.